So we're here talking country music in the country.
That's right.
Tell us about outlaws and bandits and stuff. You know, where did you come from?
Well, I came originally from eastern Washington, kind of out in the desert, way out in the wild, wild west. That's where I'm from.
We know that.
We left England and went out to the wild west. Fought Indians.
We know that as Cornwall over here, but okay, carry on. And what happened after that?
Well, my great uncle was a horse thief in Montana.
Yeah.
And he ran away with a nice, pretty Indian lady, and they had a kid. And then that kid married an Irish lady, and then they had a kid, and then I got born with pretty much a guitar in my hand.
Yeah.
And the rest is music history.
See, you stole some stuff, but you stole some Led Zeppelin as well, and other people's material.
No,
I mean,
I've never actually. That's
no, you
new.
transformed it actually.
Yes,
You've
yes.
transformed it into country.
So
this is bothering you, isn't it? Why don't you get rid of it?
What's that?
What is it? Get rid of it.
It's pretty orange. That's much better.
That's much better. Oh, we can focus on the serious matter of transforming heavy metal.
Okay.
Tell us how that works.
Well, what happened was, normally I have 6 original albums, so I write a shitload of songs. I don't know if I can say that on TV.
Yeah, you can on this too.
But yeah, so we wanted to do some covers. I've got nothing against cover songs. My mom was in a cover band my whole life growing up, so I took some, classic rock songs like Led Zeppelin and some, Ozzy Osbourne and some Guns N' Roses, and we even went a little out there and did some newer stuff like Meghan Trainor's All About That Bass.
I've seen that.
With
yeah.
So I think music's supposed to be fun. I take sometimes it's serious,
but it's fun and good. It's
you can't always be just like. So I mean, I like to have fun with it too. So, we had fun, and it turned out, I think, pretty good. I'm happy with the cover album. It's kind of a novelty thing. It's not like I'm a cover band now or something. It's definitely, I have 6 original albums, so I think it was time to throw a little salt and pepper in there just to.
So you're over here. So what are you doing over here now? And what album and stuff you got coming up and or currently?
Yeah, that's the one. The cover album is the one I'm promoting right now.
Which is called?
Hits the Hits.
Hits the Hits.
Bob Wayne, Hits the Hits. So we made sure every song on that album was a massive hit, and then we put our own spin on it. Fiddles, banjos.
Excellent.
Pistols.
Pistols?
Yeah.
Have you done the Sex Pistols yet?
No.
Do you think that's worth
I should have done that.
Yeah.
Damn it.
Perhaps we'll try it later.
Maybe volume 2, Hits the Hits.
Well, I'm here with James Toseland, who's an increasingly familiar face for rock fans these days, but is already very well known to motorbike fans as being the 2 times Superbike world champion. But he's here today with his music helmet on, if you like. And James, you've already played today. Your first time on a main stage. Tell us what that was like.
Oh, it's great. The audience are already packed.
Yeah.
There's I think they sold 14,000 tickets, and I couldn't see the back of them. So it's the first time I'd say we've been on the main stage, and to see that many people perform in front of so many people, and also for the festival themselves to have confidence in the band to put us on amongst these guys was a real pleasure. So it's an honour for us. So a big moment.
Well, you've earned it. Was it your release of your first release a couple of years ago, Renegade, spawned a number of singles which found radio play, and you're there under your own merit. So it's not like they're just spooning in a motorbike celebrity for the fun of it. It's because you can do it.
Well, when I had to retire from racing with an injury, I went back to my first love, which was music, and I wrote an album in Scarborough. I checked myself into a hotel for 8 months, and I wrote the album with Toby Jepson from the Little Angels, and
yes.
And halfway through it, Toby got really excited, and unfortunately for me, he was confident enough to give his old crew a phone call, a massive agent called Steve Strange and Steve Zapp, and management with Steve Strange and said, I think you better, you might want to listen to this and get involved. And luckily with Toby's connections in that field, that's when it started the ball rolling, and we got the gigs and been touring now for a couple of years.
Couple of years now, and you've had an EP out in the meantime. What does the rest of the year hold for Toseland?
We're in the studio in October recording album 2. We've got all the songs ready and prepared. We're looking forward to that. We've got a couple of more festivals. We've got Hard Rock Hell and Planet Rockstock Festival in November, December, and we're just trying to pick up a really good support in November or early next year to get on the road with somebody, because we've just got a record deal in Germany, in Cologne with Metalville. They're going to re-release Renegade with EP songs on there. So we need to start working hopefully in Europe and America at some point as well, which would be great.
Right, and am I right in thinking there might be something that was postponed due to bad weather, an attempt at the world motorbike speed record? I'm not sure this is a good idea, James. You've got the music career on the go. To be going faster than anyone's ever been on a motorbike sounds quite dangerous to me.
I lost a chance to go fast on a motorbike, and that was pretty difficult. And the music's been going so great. I'm loving doing what I'm doing now. But there's still that kind of like little chip inside of me that wants to go fast.
A little bit of fucking insanity, madness.
Yeah, I think it's either that or the brain's gone and just the chip's still there. But yeah, 376 miles an hour is the record, and we're going to be trying to be the first person to go over 400 miles an hour on a motorbike, and it's going to be in Bonneville at the Salt Flats.
Salt Flats.
So it's going to be next September with the look of it. We've got a lot of testing to do before that.
Yeah.
We've been rained off, as you say, for the last 2 years because the weather needs to be really good in the summers to actually dry the salt out so you can actually race on it. So hopefully next year we're going to have a good summer like we've got today.
Yeah.
We'll get out there and see how fast we can go.
Okay, well, what's the next, getting back to the music, when can any fans who fancy checking out Toseland, and what gigs are coming up, or any festivals for the rest of the year?
Yeah, we've got the 2, as I say, Hard Rock Hell in November, and then we've got Planet Rockstock December 3rd, I believe it is. So we're really looking forward to those. We did so many festivals last year that they won't put you on really on consecutive years. So it's been a bit of a quiet time, but on purposely, because we got the record deal, they've repackaged the first album. Now they want the time. The label wants the time to kind of service that before we bring anything new out here, so they can all overlap with album 2 and onwards. So it takes a lot of planning, but as I say, we're in the studio in October. We will have the album done for next year. It's just about tying it together with the label. Once they've done album 1, then we can get started with album 2 again.
Right, okay. Well, there we have James Toseland, a very greedy man, not satisfied with being the best superbike racer in the world. He now wants to be the best rock and roll singer-songwriter, and he's well on the way to doing that. All the best, James, and thanks for talking to ME1.
Pleasure, thank you very much.
Cheers.
Cheers, sir.
Well, hello, Eric. Blue Oyster Cult. It's really noisy in here, which is your band, isn't it? You're from Long Island. You've been here a long time. Tell us about 40 years.
This is real rock and roll backstage with a band live on stage as we're doing this.
Yeah, absolutely. But it's not loud enough yet, because you're going to be louder. You were one of the loudest bands in the world. What do you think?
I say it's all rock and roll. It sounds great having a band playing as we're doing this piece.
Okay. And you sort of started that thing along with some other bands around dystopia and science fiction, all that. I mean, what was all that about? And you got this strange logo. Tell us about how that all came about.
Well, look what you're wearing.
I know.
That's sort of like Oz turned upside down and inside out.
And the music characterised by 2 guitars, 2 main lead guitars anyway. I mean, how did you get that going? How did you come together in the first place?
Very long story. I think we'll have to wait till Saxon and 3 other bands are finished before I can answer that. But actually, I met Buck in a music store in 1968, and now it's 43 years later.
That's a hell of a time.
Yeah.
And this record here, it's got some of the longest songs known to man on it. I mean, I've had it for a long, long time, actually. Are you going to be doing any of these tonight?
Yes.
Which ones?
We don't have really a lot of time to play today. I wish we had longer, but I guarantee we'll be back and do a nice long show.
So have you got anything coming up for us in the UK? Are you planning to come back and do some more work here?
Well, I wish it was up to me, but it's really up to agencies and business and stuff like that. Right, okay. But we'd love to come back and do a real tour and stretch out like we can. We do 99% of our work in the United States.
Yeah.
And but we'd like to come back and do a 2 hour and 20-minute show for our real hardcore fans.
And can you pick out one fascinating story, humorous or otherwise, that typifies how the band has sustained itself across that time? One sort of amusing rock and roll story that's tellable.
Well, I was just telling somebody about going to see Ronnie Dio play. May he rest in peace. He was a good friend of mine. I was playing a fraternity party, which I don't know if your listeners or viewers would be familiar with fraternity parties, but that's like a club inside of a college where a bunch of students get together and have a private house on campus. And I was playing in one where they have a private party and hire a band. It's just like the living room of a house. You have a band play for a party. And I was playing in one, and Ronnie Dio was playing across the street. He had a band called Ronnie Dio and the Prophets. And I had my own band called Lost and Found. And my band finished playing one show. He did 4 sets a night. So I was finished with my second set, and I went across the street to watch Ronnie play. And this was probably in about 1967. I'm old, okay? So I went to see Ronnie play across the street, and Ronnie, of course, had 10 times the equipment my band had. And Ronnie was doing all of Tommy, and he had huge equipment in this living room, filled up the whole place. And then he did a whole set of Tom Jones. And he was the bass player, and it was just totally blew me away. And I love the guy, and we all miss him.
And to quote Tom Jones, that is unusual, isn't it? I would have never have known that he was capable of that.
He could do anything. The guy was a musical prodigy.
Eric, live from hell, thank you very much.
Bye, everybody.
Right, I'm here with Amon from No Hot Ashes, a band that started in the 1980s and rose from the ashes almost literally to reform. I mean, could you start by telling us about how you started in the 80s?
1980s, we all were teenagers. We all loved melodic rock. We're looking at sort of Thin Lizzy, Foreigner, Journey, that type of thing. And we decided we'd put a band together, and we were reasonably successful. We had a top 10 single in Northern Ireland. And everything was going swimmingly, and then just things petered out. We disbanded 30 years ago, and we have just recently reformed.
Yeah, and your reformation was sort of built around a sort of coming together over something rather more solemn, wasn't it, than a rock event?
Yeah, I mean, there's a big rock bar in Belfast called the Rosetta, and there was a couple of people that would have frequented the bar who unfortunately passed away prematurely through two different types of circumstances. But we decided what we were going to do is we're going to put a gig together to try and raise some funds for specific charities and just raise awareness for the bar and for the old scene. And basically that's what happened. We were asked to reform. Our drummer lives in Los Angeles, so it's going to be a logistical nightmare. So he would fly back and forth.
We just met your drummer. Couldn't you have replaced him?
You cannot replace Steve Strange, let me tell you.
No, he does seem irreplaceable.
He is irreplaceable. But no, so we so he was flying back and forward from Los Angeles to rehearse in a shed at the bottom of our bass player's garden. So he would come in, he would rehearse, and fly out that night. You know, so this was pretty. Anyway, we did the gig. It went like a dream. Everything just fell into place. So it went on from there, and we started writing, rehearsing. We ended up on supporting Foreigner. We did Calling. We did Download. We've just done a brilliant tour with Romeo's Daughter and FM, and now we're at Ramblin Man, where you are today, and tomorrow we're doing Steelhouse. So yeah, it's one thing after another.
There aren't many rambling men in Maidstone, but I'm going to go with the title. But let's move on to your single and stuff. You've got a single coming out, haven't you?
Yeah, we've got a single. Basically what's happened about maybe 4 years ago, my mum had a stroke. And my dad decided he was going to nurse her at home against all the medical advice. All the doctors were saying no, she should need to go into a nursing home and so on. So my dad has had a massive struggle and heroically has kept her at home at his side. And I decided to write a song called Boulders, which is basically they push boulders up a mountain, and they've struggled and they've succeeded, and it's for them, to be perfectly honest. Also, it's coming out in about maybe 2 weeks' time, if you can get it, because the proceeds will go on to some stroke charities.
Well, I mean, on that particular note, I do recognise that I've got a mother-in-law with a stroke, and anyone that cares for people like that, it's really demanding, isn't it?
It's unbelievable, you know. My dad's going to be 80 next year, and he's still caring for my mum. You know, so this is proper heroism. You know, this is somebody taking on something that possibly didn't need to or shouldn't have, but he's done it and he's kept going to the end.
So boulders available everywhere.
Yeah, on all
Pretty
sort of
much.
online sites. There will be physical copies and so on. So yeah, get it. It's a good cause. It's actually a brilliant song, believe it or not.
Okay. And I understand that you do a bit of writing. You've written some books or a book.
Well,
Tell us about
I've
that.
written 3 books, but I mean the one probably we should be talking about is I wrote my autobiography about my life in music, which basically was a celebration of failure because I never made it. But the interesting and wonderful characters that I met throughout my non-career, the stories had to be told. I mean, we were starting to forget them because we were getting old. So I thought I would.
But you can elaborate upon them if you forget them, can't you?
No, it has to be the truth. Has to be the truth. No. In fact, I've got to be honest with you. I had to actually hold back because some of it might have seemed actually unbelievable, but it is. It's true.
Have you got one of those short stories for us now?
Well, let me think. Yeah, there was. We rehearsed in a house that was owned by the local police sergeant in Hollywood. His son was a friend of ours, and he didn't know that we rehearsed in the house. So we were up in the attic, and he came home early for some reason and went to bed while we were having our break. We started playing a song, and the ceiling fell down on top of him. He thought a bomb had gone off. Right?
As you do.
As you do in Belfast. So yeah, that type of thing. You know, it was. Yeah.
Were you covered in plaster?
He was. He was completely covered in plaster. We weren't.
The ceiling fell down in my house strangely recently. I wasn't covered by the insurance, but that's another story. Yeah. So, remind us the title of the book again.
Hollywood Star, 1L for Hollywood, County Down. It's a wee place just outside Belfast. Hollywood Star, yeah.
Coming up then, what are your plans next? What else do you want to tell us?
Well, I mean, we're going to record the album. We've got some gigs coming up. We're supporting a band called the Dead Daisies, or members of Guns N' Roses and things like that. We're playing with them, and we're also going to do some more gigging next year, Hard Rock Hell, AOR, and so on. So we've got a lot going on, and we're trying to hold down our full-time jobs and so on.
Ah, right. So in between that, you're writing melodic rock songs.
Absolutely.
As one does.
Yeah. Why not?
Thank
What else
you.
would you be doing?
Indeed. Thank you very much, Amon.
Thank you.
Thank you. Here we go again. I'm here with Jesse and the Bandits. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon, hello.
Right. You're the keyboard player, aren't you?
I am indeed, yeah.
Tell us about playing keyboards in a country band.
It's more important than you think.
Tell me how important it is then. Oh, actually, why don't you start at the beginning? Tell me how you got together.
Well, I'll jump on this one. Basically, these guys, the Bandits, were touring with a band called the Overtones several years ago, and I was as well. I was opening for them. And basically, long story short, we became friends. We bonded over a strange love of country music, because being from Texas, it makes sense, but I wouldn't have expected these British guys to like country music.
Because you're 1/5 Texan and
Yes.
4/5 British. Sounds like a cocktail. How did that come about then?
So yeah, basically we just realized how much we had in common when it came to country music, and started working together, started to play together, and before we knew it, we were constantly working together, and we decided to make it official and become a band.
Here we are.
Yeah.
It's just good music, you know. We've all grown up wherever we're from with just good music and listening to all kinds of styles, and country's one of them. And I think we've all sort of done our homework, so to speak, in terms of listening and playing. And actually, meeting Jess sort of gave us the chance to do our country chops, you know. And
Bringing in the authentic part of it.
It's been great.
So I'm not getting your accent. Where are you? The four of you from? Whereabouts in Britain?
I'm actually from Bristol, and I've
Oh, well, that is country, isn't it, really? It's the West. It's the Wild West.
It is, yeah. I don't have the accent anymore, or at least not much. My London friends take the mick out of me for having an accent, but I don't think they can hear it. I think they just, yeah.
So, you're going on tour. Tell us all about that.
Well, we're really excited about it. It's our first headline tour as a band, so it's a little nerve-wracking, kind of scary.
Exciting, but also worrying.
Yeah.
At the same moment.
Well, it's one of those things where eventually as a band you have to go out and you have to go out on your own. And we thought, let's do it. There's a lot of really exciting buzz going around about us, and thought, well, let's do this. Let's go on tour. And we're going to do it in October. And we're really excited.
Yeah, really looking forward to it. We get a chance to do our own show, and it's we can put it together the way we like, and we've got some great ideas, a few surprises, and it's going to be good.
And music-wise, records and things, are things coming out around that time, or?
We actually have an album out right now, so it has been out for a couple of months. It debuted at number 6, and then just re-entered the charts at 16. It's really crazy, so we're excited.
So this is great. What's it called?
It's called Here We Go Again.
Here we go again, as we started at the beginning. Now, people ask questions like, why do people get bands together, and they come up with daft answers like, because they couldn't think of anything else to do and stuff like that. But I know particularly you're actually quite keen on you've got a number of passions around sort of size issues and stuff like that.
Oh, yeah.
So, tell us a little bit about the sort of, the stuff that rocks your boat in terms of why you go out and sort of put yourself out about this sort of stuff.
With everything with the with Evans and all that, is that basically, I think honestly I just want to try to inspire people, especially women. There's so many bad influences out there that I feel like there needs to be someone that, especially young girls, that they can look up to and go, you know what, actually I can aspire to do great things, and I can chase after dreams, even though people tell me I may not be the perfect package or whatever that may be. And so it's really great to be able to be on this platform of working with Evans and having with the Style Has No Size campaign.
Yeah, this is like your hashtag, isn't it?
It's their campaign, and they've asked me to be the ambassador for it.
Fantastic.
And I couldn't be more excited. Although they are a plus size brand, I think it's amazing that they're trying to be all inclusive of all women and say, you know what, it doesn't matter. Style doesn't have a size, and we all need to start to care about each other instead of tear each other down.
Yeah, we're getting there in this world, aren't we, on this sort of stuff? Eventually. It's taken a while. So, plans for the future. What are you going to conquer after the world tour here?
Well, I think we want to do some more writing, basically. We've got some more songs to get out, I think, and that's the next step. Doing these gigs is great, and we're loving the festivals this year, and we're loving the gigs we've got in between, and we're really looking forward to the tour. But I think after that, it's got to be about the songs,
World domination, though, for sure.
Yeah. So that's a side issue, world domination. But writing a few songs first.
Yeah, we've got, like I said, the album has got great reviews, and people seem to love it, and we know that means we've got to spend some time on this next album. So we're going to definitely take our time and do some writing. But that's the great thing about going on tour and being able to spend so much time together, is we're going to be able to come up with lots of material, probably over a lot of alcohol, I would imagine.
So to quote Dolly Parton, you're working beyond 9 to 5 then on this whole enterprise.
Absolutely.
Absolutely, yes. There is no 9 to 5 in the music industry.
No, there isn't. Thank you so much.
Thanks, cheers.
Thank you. Have a great show in Maidstone.
Thank you.
Okay, I'm here with Chris Buck of Buck and Evans, exciting new group who are playing in about an hour's time over there in the Blues tent. Chris, first of all, welcome to Ramblin Man. Have you played around these parts before?
Kind of, in and out of London very frequently, but never been lucky enough to come down to this neck of the woods. So it's first time for everything.
Well, I understand the formation of Buck and Evans came about somewhat by chance. You were offered a gig at Madame Jojo's, is that right? But your band were in Arizona, which is always difficult.
It has provided a slight problem. Yeah, it was a bit of a last-minute offer to open for Sandy Tom at Madame Jojo's in Soho. I'd just come back from the States, recording a solo album, so the kind of band was scattered all over the globe.
Yeah.
And found myself very much alone, which sounds far more sad than it actually was. So a couple of phone calls later, a band was hastily kind of organised, and kind of never know quite how things are going to work out, and amazingly it kind of gelled very quickly, and Buck and Evans was born off the back of that. So.
And since then you've performed with Slash, who I understand is a fan of the band.
Yeah, bizarrely, the first show we ever kind of did as a full band was actually in Arizona at a benefit show, which we kind of opened the benefit show as Buck and Evans, and then finished the night as Slash's backing band, which was surreal to say the least. So yeah, he's a lovely guy and been incredibly complimentary, about myself and the band. So yeah, incredibly lucky to have his support. So
yeah, well, you can't get much more higher in the echelons of rock royalty than a stamp of approval from Sir Slash himself.
For the man who made me pick up a guitar in the first place. So
was
yeah.
he the
he was,
the
yeah,
inspiration?
kind of, when a kid sort of looking up in it, and he's, as much the man, the myth, the icon as he is the guitar player, and just, kind of growing up looking at that, kind of passing posters, and yeah, just, an incredible inspiration on myself. So. Well,
that's a sort of dream-like scenario where you suddenly end up playing one of your first gigs with this band alongside him. I'm surprised you could play a single note correctly.
Oh, incredibly surreal. I mean, I'd kind of met him before that, and I'd been lucky enough to get on stage with him in Birmingham about a year prior, and that was the induction, the kind of, dealing with that sort of pressure, and, kind of, I can't compliment him enough in terms of how much he relaxed me. He was very, very encouraging, very just, he's just a genuinely nice guy. It's kind of like bumping into someone down the pub, on the street. He's just, just a normal bloke at the end of the day, which, when he kind of, he looks as sort of, kind of imposing as he does, it's quite easy to forget, I imagine. But he's just, a genuinely lovely, humble, articulate guy. So,
well, as you are as well. So, following in the footsteps in more ways than one. Now, what have we got? We've got the gig coming up in less than an hour now. What can the fans and the people new to Buck and Evans hope to hear?
The fans and the not so fans. Kind of rock and soul, I guess, kind of, pretty much sums up what we're about. It kind of encompasses the kind of influences that we've adopted, and yeah, kind of rock and soul kind of thing with a bit of everything in between. Although not too much country, I'll be perfectly honest. We're
not too much country.
Maybe a little bit of a mismatch with that stage, but kind of like I said, I'd be happy to play a Portaloo here, to be honest. Just great to be here. So
okay.
Yeah, so.
And for those looking to check out the band the rest of the year, have you got any other gigs or festivals coming up?
We have the next gig actually is next Thursday in London at Olympic Studios. It's got a very long, boring story short. A good friend of mine, Chris Kimsey, who kind of has got an incredible back catalogue and stuff, produced the Stones, engineered a load of stuff, Frampton Comes Alive, etc., etc.
Frampton Comes Alive!
I think one or two people bought that.
Me included.
Like Wayne's World, so it came free for a while, didn't it? Stamp approval. But yeah, we've been very fortunate to be asked to do an acoustic session at Olympic Studios, which has recently reopened. Chris has been very influential in that. It's kind of curating the whole process, and yeah, we're one of the first bands to do an acoustic session there, starting this Thursday. So
that's next Thursday,
Thursday the 30th.
The 30th of July, Olympic Studios. I don't suppose there'll be too many tickets available for that. It's quite a small venue.
Quite a small little venue, very intimate is the way we're describing it.
And what else have you got coming up?
We've got primarily the next kind of port of call. We've just been in the studio recording a couple of tracks. We released an EP last February and kind of did a tour of the UK off the back of that, and kind of made the most of it. And yeah, the next plan of action is to release these two tracks, in kind of whatever form we decide is best, and yeah, take it from there. So fingers crossed, especially up until Christmas, we're looking to keep as busy as possible, get as many gigs under our belt, and just keep spreading the Buck and Evans word.
Keep spreading the Buck and Evans word. And next year, have you got any new recordings planned?
Definitely, we're ultimately gearing up towards an album. A couple of people ask me, when it's going to be ready, but ultimately we're not in any rush to get something out. I mean, our first album is such a kind of momentous, I don't know whether that's the right word, but such a kind of important stage in the band's progress. You don't want to rush that and get it out at a time when maybe not as many people are aware of you as should be.
Yeah.
And invariably, a band's first album is their strongest for some time. You've had infinite amount of time to work on it. Nobody's looking over your shoulder asking you when it's going to be ready.
Yeah.
It's a product of its time spent on it, and we want to spend as much time writing it and getting the strongest tracks possible, recording it and making it sound as good as we can, physically can, and then get it out when there's an outcry for it. So unless there's an outcry for it, you'll never hear it. But fingers crossed, some point next year, I guess, is the ultimate aim. So. Well,
Chris, I realise you've got to get ready for the gig and put on your platform shoes or whatever. Buck and Evans, whatever the Chris Buck stage wear is.
Decidedly similar to what I'm wearing now.
We're keeping it low key, but that's Chris Buck of Buck and Evans, who are performing here in about an hour's time. Thanks very much, Chris. All the best. Do a good gig.
Cheers, man.
Cheers.
It's been a long time since I rock and roll. long time since I did the stroll. Oh, let me get it back, let me get it back, let me get it back, back where I come from. Well, it's been a long time, been a long time, been a long, lonely, 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 lonely time. Yeah. Said it's been a long time since I took up love. I can't count the tears when my life was no love.